Okay, hi class. So today's lesson is from 1-2. Um, we are going to deal with algebraic expressions, okay? And I know this is probably a lot of review, but bear with me and it's always good to review, right? Okay, so a couple of things. You should have this in front of you, okay? It's your note paper, and I'm gonna help you fill it out, okay? So let's look at variable. Variable, okay, is going to be a symbol. Okay, so fill it out with me. So it is mainly a symbol, and it's usually going to be a letter. Okay, and this letter represents a number. Okay, so usually you'll see it like X, Y, Z, and so forth. Okay. Next is an algebraic expression. So an expression, it's kind of like a sentence. You're expressing yourself, but we're going to express algebraically. Okay, that does not make sense. But anyway, it is a math sentence, okay, that contains variables. Okay. Yes, because in algebraic expressions, we always have variables, usually. Okay. Evaluate, okay, it's basically to solve. So whenever you see evaluate, they want you to solve. In this case, they usually want you, okay, to substitute. This is a key word, okay? I don't want you to use plug in or anything like that. I want you to say to substitute, okay? Numbers, I'm just going to shorten this. Numbers for the variables. Okay? So, to solve. Great. If you need to, you can pause. Otherwise, I'm just going to move this over. Okay? That's the great thing about videos, right? You can pause. All right. So, term. So, term is basically you can either have a single number, okay, or variable. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second, okay? Or you can have a product. So hopefully you remember, I can't really hear your response, but product is the answer to a what type of problem? Multiplication. Hopefully you got that. Okay, so that means a term is usually a number or a variable like multiplied together, okay? So a product of a number and variable. Okay? So coefficient is basically the numerical or number, okay, numerical, factor, okay, in a term. Alright? Sorry, I have a lot of stuff here. Okay, so if, for example, let's say we have 7x squared plus 3y. Okay? This whole thing, hopefully, you know from our vocabulary, is going to be called the algebraic expression. So what you do, on your notes, write this example down, okay? And what I want you to do is label. So I'm going to bracket this whole thing, and this right here is an algebraic, oops, I spelled algebraic wrong, algebraic expression. Okay? Because, as we said, it's a math sentence that contains variables. So here's a math sentence, and it contains x, y. Those are variables, okay? So a term, if you have different colors, I think that would be helpful, or you can highlight. So a term, we said, can be a single number or a variable or a product of them. So if you notice here, we have a product of a number and a variable, and it's separated by an addition sign. So we've got actually here two terms. We have one, we have two, and so you can label this term. Okay, I'm going to be using these terms, it's a pun, right? these vocabulary terms often, so I need you to really be solid in this, okay? So you know what I'm talking about. So we've got terms. So now coefficient, okay, the numerical factor. So it's basically the number in a term, okay? So you can label, I'm going to circle the coefficients. So in red, it's the coefficients. All right? Awesome. Okay, let's look at example 1. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so for example 1, it tells us to evaluate. If you read that, evaluate, okay? For 7x minus 3xy, for x is negative 2 and y equals 5. So if you notice, they give you x, okay? We're going to use a different color, I guess red, for y. And all they want you to do, remember, evaluate means to solve and to substitute, okay? So we're going to substitute. Wherever you see y, you're going to put negative 5. Wherever you see x, you're going to put negative 2. So let's do that. Let's see if I can juggle all these colors here. So we have a 7. Let's plug in x, and x is going to be green, and negative 2. So it's x, and make sure you put in parentheses so you don't mix it up, okay? Minus 3 times x again, okay, and times y, which is 5. Okay, so I know this may be easy for you guys. It's review, but, you know, just humor me, okay? All right, so 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Oh, I guess I should just use black. Okay, make sure you use order of operations. A lot of people make these mistakes, so don't be one of them, okay? Then we have minus. So in this case, please, 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 go, don't forget the subtraction sign here, and don't do it in your head. You may get it wrong, so show all your work, okay? So 3 times negative 2 is going to be negative 6, and then we have the times 5, okay? So now I'm going to keep going, left to right. We're going to do, remember PEMDAS, okay, so we're going to do multiplication. So negative 14 minus, we have negative 6 times 5, which is negative 30, okay? So I keep the parentheses so I don't make mistakes. I tend to make mistakes, so that's why I have to show all my work. Okay, negative 14 minus negative 30. So since we have 2 negative signs next to each other, it becomes a positive, okay. So negative 14 plus 30, you can rearrange that, 30 minus 14, whatever works for you, and you should get, hopefully my math is correct, is 16. You got it? Okay, let's move on. Okay, so right now I want you to pause the video, okay, and work on quick check 1, A and B. So pause. Okay, well, so hopefully you paused and now you're listening to me again. So let's go over this, okay? Just in case you need a little help. Feel free to fast forward and just look at the answer if you want to do it that way. But, so x is supposed to be 4 and y is supposed to be negative 2, okay? So let's just plug things in. X is 4, so we're going to put 4 plus, then y is negative 2. So negative 2 divided by 4. So hopefully you remember that we do division before anything else, or, well, the parentheses, I guess. But since we want to treat this as a whole number, we'll do negative 2 divided by 4. So what you'll get is 4 plus negative 2 over 4. We can change it into a fraction, okay? So you can do it that way. And we have a plus here, a minus, so it becomes 4 minus 2/4. 2/4 becomes, hopefully you remember how to reduce, is 1/2. And so 4 minus 1/2, I'll just write it out for you just in case, okay? Will be 3 1/2. And that should be it, okay? If it's not, and you don't know why, let me know. And if I made a mistake, feel free to let me know tomorrow or Monday in this case, okay? So B, let's do the same thing, okay? We're going to plug things in. 3 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2 plus 4 minus, I know you can automatically put plus here because it's a minus, but show all your work, okay? So minus y, which is minus negative 2. So then if you write everything down, you won't make a mistake. Okay, 3 times 4 will go left to right. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. All right, minus 4 times negative 2 will be negative 8. Okay, plus 4 minus negative 2, and so that becomes plus 2. And let's keep on going. This becomes 12 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2. So we can add, this becomes 20 plus 4 plus 2. This is 24 plus 2, and then 26. So hopefully you get that. Okay, so now for example 2. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's just a tad bit more complicated, okay? So we've got x equals 3, all right? So all you have to do, again, wherever you see x, plug it in. But make sure you include the negatives, the parentheses, everything like that. Just plug in x, 3 for x. So we're going to write negative, x is 3, so we're going to put in 3 here, squared, okay? Make sure you copy it down correctly. 2 times, plug in 3, 3 plus 1.
Attention, will Leticia Lamara please come to the counseling office? Leticia, Lamara, please come to the front of the school. Your ride is waiting.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and we're going to keep on going, okay? So negative 3 squared is 9 minus, so remember, this is called, hopefully you know, starts with a D. Think of it before I say it. 2 times 3 and then 2 times 1, that is called distributive. Hopefully you got that, okay? So 2 times 3, so we'll have, but remember we have a negative here, so you're going to multiply negative 2 times 3 and negative 2 times 1, okay? So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And now you just go left to right. Negative 9 minus 6, negative 15. And then minus 2, and then we'll get negative 17. Hopefully I did that correctly. Check your work. Make sure it's good. And then go ahead and try quick check 2, A and B on your own. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, so hopefully you tried it. Check your work here. So A, you should have gotten negative 16. B, you should have gotten negative 69. Okay, check my work. I did it step by step. If you're still having trouble with it, feel free to ask a partner or hopefully your substitute, and should be good. Okay, so double check, pause it, whatever you need to do. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna move on to example 3.